Welcome to another episode of Unstick Yourself. If you're listening to this show, then you have just been through or are currently going through a difficult breakup, and you're feeling stuck in these emotions that drag you down day in and day out, and it feels like you're alone. But there are many of us going through it, and that's why I created this show, because I'm going through it too. Each week I'll give you one or two things to try or to think about, and then we can create a dialogue in the comments below, or email me at unstickyourself@yahoo.com, and hopefully we'll help each other get through this. Today I want to talk about a question that we all have on our minds as we make our way through this heartache, and that question is, how could they do this to me? How could they treat me this way after all that we've been through? What could possibly be going through their minds? When your relationship suddenly ends, it's very surreal. It is impossible to wrap your mind around what's happening. You live in denial, and that's why this question keeps cycling through your head day in and day out. If you're not familiar with my story, I was married for 18 years, and my wife came into our bedroom, told me she didn't love me anymore. A couple of months later, she moved out, leaving me at home with the kids. And so I've asked myself this question about 1,000 times a week. And here's the problem with asking yourself that question. It almost always leads to a downward spiral. It triggers an emotion. For me, I find myself getting angry. I find myself going over and over again with conversations in my head that I have not had with her, but that I would love to have. And I feel that anger in my body. There's a tightness in my chest. And continually tapping into these painful emotions is what has us stuck. I was listening to a guy named Dr. Paul on a YouTube channel called Live on Purpose. Here's how he described getting angry at someone for what they've done to you. He said, imagine you've been bit by a snake. You can react one of two ways. You can grab a stick or a rock, chase the snake around and try to exact some sort of revenge. What's that doing? It's causing the poison to circulate through your bloodstream, and it's making you feel like shit. Or you can focus on removing the poison and feel better. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to focus more on removing the poison and less on killing the snake. But it's difficult because our minds demand justice. Our minds demand a proper explanation for what this person is doing to us. Our minds want them to suffer the way they are making us suffer. But it's futile to hope for this because they've already put in the effort to disconnect, and no amount of effort on our part is going to make them take a step backward. So if they're not going to tell us why they're treating us this way, then what can we do? The first thing you need to do is stop doing all the things you've probably already done. Stop pleading, stop begging them to come back, stop crying, stop telling them that you love them, stop texting them, stop stalking them. Basically, leave them alone. No amount of whining is going to get them to change their minds, and in fact, it's going to push them farther away. So get your mind to a place where you stop focusing on them and you start focusing on yourself. This is an opportunity to make significant changes in your life. I know when my wife left me, I started working out 3 or 4 times a week, and it feels great. I'm seeing results. I haven't worked out this much in years. I also made a list of daily routines that include deep breathing, meditation, focusing on gratitude. I listen to positive motivational talks to and from work, and when I'm at work, I listen to positive podcasts. I take an afternoon walk with an apple. During that walk, I run up 5 flights of stairs a couple of different times. And I'm also determined to face some of my biggest fears this year. I'll get into that more in some future shows. So, what goals do you have? Do you have plans? Have you written them down? If not, I encourage you to take this opportunity to focus on things that you would like to personally adjust. Focus on your own personal development. Now, those things are going to make the best version of you. But let's get back to this downward spiral that we go through when we ask ourselves that question. And it triggers that depression. What do we do to take control of that situation? Here's something to try that I've tried recently, and it's worked for me. When you begin to ask yourself this question, and when you begin to feel those emotions kick in, when you begin to feel that anger or that depression or that sadness or whatever it is for you, take a moment to catch yourself and realize what you're doing. Realize you're having a physical reaction right now to something that's happened in the past. And when you catch yourself, take a couple of deep breaths and recenter yourself in the present moment. Disconnect from the past. The past does not exist. Disconnect from the future. The future does not exist. Focus on right now. And ask yourself this one question. Is everything okay right now in this moment? Am I okay right now? Unless you're currently being eaten by a bear, the answer should be yes. Everything is okay right now. And when you realize that everything is okay, then take a moment to focus on something that you're excited about in the future. Maybe you're redoing a room in your house or apartment and you can't wait to get it designed. Maybe you're an artist and you're starting a painting. Maybe you're going to take a vacation soon. Maybe you're going to have dinner with someone that you haven't seen in a long time. You see, when you catch yourself going down that spiral and you stop it and you replace it with something that gets you excited about the future, then you release the hold that memory has on you. And if you do this often enough and it becomes a habit, eventually, if we're lucky, that memory will no longer trigger painful emotions. It will just be a memory. I can't say for sure because I'm not there yet, but that's what I'm hoping will happen. So that's your homework assignment for this week. Make sure you're working on yourself in a number of different ways. Make sure you're changing your life for the better. And make sure the next person you start dating will get the best version of you that there's ever been. And also, if you catch yourself having these toxic thoughts when you have a memory of your ex, know that you're okay in this moment and know that you're only going to get better as the days go on. As always, I'm going to leave you with a quote, and that quote is this: nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me on my journey toward healing. I'll talk to you next week in another episode of Unstick Yourself. Be well, my friends.
Unstick yourself!